Hey guys, this week we are talking about the benefits of gambling, the timing of a win, and more, so stick around.
Welcome to the Crap Vegas podcast.
Vegas, here we come.
Vegas!
Here are your hosts, Chris and Josh.
Hello everyone, and welcome to episode number 81 of the Crap Vegas podcast. I am Chris, he is Josh. Josh, what's going on?
Well, Chris, there's one thing we need to mention right off the bat.
Time travel. Since my first day on the job as the Starfleet captain, I swore I'd never let myself get caught in one of these godforsaken paradoxes. The future is the past is the future. It all gives me a headache.
So you know what that means, Chris?
It's a time paradox special.
It is. We are currently, what are we doing? We're playing coffee dice together. We are together.
Oh, technically, yeah, unless you're a KCS patron, then no,
Right.
you're not.
If you're a KCS patron, who knows?
You're a quarter of a mile away from me and didn't want to walk over to say hi to me is all it really is at this point. But
Right.
If you're listening Sunday morning, Josh and I are having a coffee dice session right now. You should probably run down and join us.
Run, yes,
From
wherever you are.
Because we're only guaranteed to be there from 6 to 6:15, depending on how well the dice rolls go.
That's right.
But it could be 6 to 8 or 9. You never know.
Exactly. So anyway, come join us if you're in town. What I wanted to say, Chris, though, is we've talked about before that I'm not particularly handy around the house.
Yeah, that's an understatement. Yeah.
The chandelier lassoing, all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
Well, so my wife ordered, we're doing some house kind of remodeling a little bit, and my wife ordered a dresser from Target, Chris. And so I had to go down and pick up this dresser from Target and put it together.
Okay.
And it's kind of, IKEA-ish idea. And
Yeah,
the
it's
thing
got 3,
took me
4 screws to put in it. I got you.
Yeah, the thing took me like 5 hours to put together this dresser.
Gee.
And then,
Now, Josh, hold on.
okay,
hold
go
on.
ahead.
First of all, you're buying a dresser from Target?
It's
What was
for
this
the kid.
for?
It's for the kids' room. We just wanted to have kind of this.
I was surprised you would even use that for your children, knowing your history. I mean, I thought this
It's
was
for
like
the
for a
garage.
dresser for your cats that you were going to put in the cat house or something.
No, see, we're of the
Okay.
people.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
So we bought this dresser. I put it together. It literally took 5 hours. And my wife decided it was too big. It's four drawers and she wanted a 3-drawer. So the next day she
Okay.
orders a 3-drawer one. So I go down to Target. I pick up, we've got the 4-drawer one that we don't know what we're going to do with it. But I go down to Target. I pick up the 3-drawer one. I get home. The thing weighs, 100 pounds. It's really hard to move by. I'm lugging the box out in the garage. I'm going to put it together again. I'm convinced I can do it much faster this time. I take out all
Sure.
the pieces. I get them all separated. I'm ready to go. I'm going to try and do it in an hour. And I realize Target did not include the hardware.
Oh, like you're talking about like the drawer pulls?
The screws. and
Okay.
all the
That's,
things.
that's
the
quite
little-
important. Yeah.
The little pieces. So I have to, and of course, the box is all ripped up because it's just cheap cardboard. So I have to lug it all down back to Target and have them come out in a cart to pick up the random pieces of this and return it. Fortunately, they didn't even ask why. They just let me return the pieces of this dresser. Didn't even care why. So
I'm sure they have a picture of you on a wall somewhere that's just like, let this guy be. He's a problem. We know.
that's right. So Target,
Jeez.
if you're listening,
Mhm.
the customer service was great, but your dresser didn't have any hardware.
Well, Josh, I think now you know you can only get all your furniture in the future from all the super expensive solid wood furniture places online.
Yeah, I know. I'm not buying things that I have to construct anymore.
MDF
How about you?
and
What's
particle
happening?
board furniture. That just does not work with you. I never would have thought that it would. It's like you stepping foot in an IKEA. I don't think that ever happens, does it?
Oh, we've had some IKEA stuff over the years.
Like 45
Once
years
in
ago?
a while, yeah. What's going on with you?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Super busy like always. It's, nothing too good. I was at a dance recital this weekend, Josh. I mean, that's always fun. We had some tornadoes move through Kentucky
Yeah,
on
I
Friday,
saw
so that's
that.
kind of a big story right now. Thankfully, that didn't impact Louisville at all. Most of that damage was out on the east side of the state. Just horrible, horrible situations. It really
Yeah.
seems that Tornado Alley truly has shifted, and now Kentucky just seems to be part of it. It
Oh.
feels like too many times every year now we're getting multiple devastating tornadoes coming through
Yeah.
our state. So that kind of sucks.
Yeah. Thoughts are with everybody impacted.
Absolutely.
Switching gears a little, did you see the Preakness?
No. Who
Oh.
watches the Preakness? Nobody was running in the Preakness that mattered.
Well, it was
They-
but the thing is, though, I didn't watch it at the time, but I saw it after the fact journalism. I mean, the win was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that, but as a Derby lover, there's just something about, the Triple Crown where it's so important and, we're the
Right.
first leg of that.
Right.
But when they keep these dates that they have, which are completely arbitrary dates, they're
Yep.
meaningless. They've
Yeah.
changed over the years.
Yes.
The location of the races has changed. It's changing next year for the Preakness.
I mean,
it already
Churchill Downs
changed for
has
the
moved.
Belmont. No, it hasn't. It's been the same place forever.
I know.
We're always first Saturday in May. But, it just bothers me that because of this artificial timeline we put on the time between races, that the best horses don't run in the Preakness because
Yes.
it's just too close. 2 weeks, they won't do. We
Right.
have got to move the dates back on the Preakness and Belmont Stakes to give the Triple Crown a real chance again. It feels like horse racing is finally starting to get some new life again. But when you have the Derby winner not racing in the Preakness,
Yeah.
nobody cares. So I just don't understand why we don't push it back and push it way back. Let's do it like on holidays. Let's put the Preakness on Memorial Day weekend. Let's put the Belmont Stakes on the 4th of July. Put a huge gap between them. Put them on holiday weekends. I just don't get it, Josh. I don't understand why they shoot these things in the foot from the start.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I wouldn't have paid any attention to the race other than after the fact that I saw that it was an amazing race. And on TikTok, I saw journalism's, final quarter poll.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But how much more exciting would it have been, Josh, if that was actually
Oh,
sovereignty
yeah.
and journalism coming down to the wire in that race?
Right.
That would have mattered.
Right. Poor Clover.
Clover. Okay, Josh, with all that being said, let's tell people how to get a hold of us. You can send us an email. That's podcast@crapvegas.com. You can join us over on our Facebook group, crapvegas.com/Facebook. You can join us over on Twitter.
X.
He's at Vegas Duffy. I'm at Small Whale 13, or the show page is at Crap Vegas. Or we would absolutely love to have you join us over on Patreon. That's patreon.com/crapvegas. There's a 1-week free trial. There's all sorts of amazing content over there. Josh, I think I looked at one point and there's literally like 95 hours worth of stuff on there that you can go back and listen to. What are you waiting for? Get on over there.
Oh, yeah. And out of the 95, maybe 20 of it's kind of good.
That's what I'm saying.
But,
You got,
you're-
you know that we're only solid like 10 to 15% of the time, but even then you still got like 15 hours or so.
Exactly. So we appreciate your support as always. And seriously, it means a lot to us.
Previous episode feedback, Josh. We got a message from TD over on the CV Facebook group. And I know he also joined us on Patreon recently. He said, for being a complete Vegas nerd, I'm ashamed to admit that I just discovered this podcast a couple weeks ago. I enjoyed the first. I know, that's horrible.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the first 4 or 5 episodes so much that I decided to go all the way back to the beginning and play catch up. Thank you for the great content. Thank you for that message. We hope you enjoy everything. The show has, what's a good word, slightly evolved over the years, Josh.
Yeah.
But we feel like it's pretty much the same from the beginning till now.
Yeah, it's not too. I mean, we've heard that we have found our groove. We've recently found our groove.
We've been told that by many people.
And so we appreciate it. If you do go back and listen to the first episodes, we're still learning our way. The sound has gotten better, we think.
Yeah.
We don't talk as much craps anymore. Some people like that. Some people don't.
Yeah, that's a very polarizing topic, but 100% true. So glad
But
you
thank
found
you,
us. Glad you enjoyed.
CVTD. Means a lot to us.
Absolutely. Josh, last episode, we talked about bubble craps a little bit. We received an email from Sarah. Sarah said, guys, I completely understand that bubble craps is awesome for beginners, but I can't see any reason at all for an experienced player to sit down at one of these. The lack of tier credits, lack of camaraderie, and setup take away from all the best parts of a real craps game. I think they have their place, but definitely do not want to see them expand in the future. What do you think, Josh?
Well, Sarah, thanks for the question or the observation. I hear what you're saying. I just think that the way the economics of casinos are going, and maybe to a certain extent what younger folks, the young people like to play, I don't see bubble craps kind of going away, and I do see it probably growing.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, Josh, as the young representative of the show, clearly
Exactly.
I love bubble craps. I think it's amazing. It's just like looking at my phone all day. But I think you're right, Josh. I think this is just one of those things that's going to continue to expand over time. People like them. They're easy for the casino to put those things in. They don't have to hire dealers to work at them. They don't have to worry about cheating. They don't have to worry about replacing dice. They don't have to worry about the game slowing down too much. They're just an awesome tool for the casino. And Josh, in the next comment that we have from previous episode feedback, I think we'll bring it around a little bit.
And you don't have to worry about dice influencing.
No, 100% true. Yeah, I mean, you can try, but it's inside that little cage, so I don't know how you would do it.
Yeah, that makes it tricky.
We received an email from Stan, though, Josh, on the other side of things. He said, as you have mentioned, Encore in Boston has horrible comps at the tables, it seems, which it does. But he says their bubble and stadium do give comps. I actually get more comps on the bubble ones than I do at the real tables.
That's fascinating and kind of good to know, especially if you're an Encore Boston Harbor player. But it kind of tracks, Chris, with one of the things I think I remember you saying about Encore Boston Harbor was how slow the play was. So if you can play at your own pace at a Bubble Craps table and get tier credits, I mean, why not?
The only thing I want to say, though, Josh, his email was not as specific as I would have liked. He says you can get comps. Now, did he mean that you could earn tier credits, or is he saying based off his play he didn't earn any tier credits, but he got a decent offer after the fact? I don't know the answer to that. That would be helpful. Maybe we'll talk about that on a future episode. But hey, if you can earn tier credits, get some decent comps, and play some Bubble Craps, based on what I've experienced at Encore Boston Harbor, it's not the worst thing in the world because those tables are rough, the dealers are rough, the players that you play with, they're a little rough. It's just, yeah, I'd probably rather be alone at a Bubble Craps machine.
Yeah, thanks for the information, Stan.
Absolutely. So let's keep it moving, Josh. All right, so here's a question that might raise a few eyebrows, Josh. Can gambling actually be good for you?
Yes.
A lot of Vegas personalities have spoken or written about this topic recently, so I thought we would chime in with our thoughts. And we're not saying you should take your paycheck to the craps table, but in today's episode, let's break down some of the positive things that come with gambling, and maybe, just maybe, we'll justify a few of our own bad decisions along the way.
I don't think there are anything but positive parts of it.
You're probably not the right person to have this discussion with, and maybe I can find a new co-host for this episode. Okay, let's start off, Josh. A couple different topics here. First, mental stimulation and strategic thinking. Do you think that gambling actually makes people smarter or just maybe more confident in bad math?
I kind of see it both ways, Chris. I mean, you look at, and I'm going to pick on dice influencers a little bit, and I'm sorry about that. I don't mean to if you think that dice influencing works, but I'm going to pick on it a little bit. There are people that I think that buy into all of the various fallacies or things like that that are out there that maybe or maybe not are proven to be correct.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you're someone who kind of falls into those, it can be bad. It can make you more confident in bad math. But I think if you can not fall into those traps, I mean, kind of like I said way back to whoever's question that was, going back to the very, very beginning of the show, play the way that makes you happy, but know the odds. And so to that extent, I think it can make you smarter if you take the time to learn the ins and outs of these games and the odds and the better bets and all that kind of stuff. I think that can help.
Absolutely. In games like poker or blackjack, I think that really does train people to make proper decisions under pressure, like using good decision making. They need to know the rules. They need to know how to properly play. And then in this stressful situation, can they apply that to the situation they're in? Because a lot of people panic and cave in those situations.
Right.
So there's a positive to take away from it.
And really, when you mentioned poker, and I think that's a great example for me, I mean, learning about implied odds and pot odds and all that kind of stuff. Now, what I found is I am one of those people, I guess, that under pressure, that tends to go out of my head. Like I lose the ability to process that information correctly in my head, but at least I know that.
No, that's true. And do you think, though, that odds and probabilities are different when it comes to like gambling versus actual real life? Do you think that we take odds and statistics and kind of shape them a little differently in the gambling perspective versus if we're talking about a decision we're making in our daily life?
Well, maybe a little bit in the sense of, because these are all, with the exception of AP blackjack play and that kind of thing, these are all negative EV games. So to a certain extent, we are rationalizing the losing of our money by trying to, okay, I'm going to play a bet that only has, a 2% house edge versus a bet that has an 8% house edge. It's good to know that, but to a certain extent, it is rationalizing losing money that way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm even thinking about it from the perspective like you and I in our daily life, we'll make some sort of decision, whether it's job related or family related or just spending related on something. And we know that, say it's a TV that we're buying, and that TV can either cost $400 or it can cost $4,000. And you and I may go back and forth trying to decide which one makes more sense and make this rational choice at the end of the day. Whereas when we're at a casino, we'll have no qualm at all about spending $4,000 on something ridiculously stupid.
That's very true. So is that making us smarter?
I don't think it is, but I guess it's possible. Josh, I had a quote written down that I've heard multiple times from multiple different people. And the quote is, gambling punishes bad decisions. Life sometimes punishes the right ones too.
I guess that's true, but I feel like gambling also can punish good decisions.
It absolutely can.
Yeah.
Yeah, being blackjack table, we make the right play.
Right.
In that situation, we can still get beat up by the wrong cards.
Right. I was thinking like in poker, back to the poker, you hold pocket aces and you get,
oh, sure. Yeah. You
rivered
go all
or whatever.
in pre-flop and
Right.
you get rivered. It happens.
I did what I was supposed to do.
Yeah. BS. Okay. The second area, Josh, that I think people talk about a lot in benefits of gambling is social interaction. Is there a better way to meet people than yelling parlay my 8 at a craps table?
I think that probably is one of the biggest benefits to gambling. Even at going back to the whole bubble craps thing. If you're doing bubble craps and there are people around you, even that can be social interaction. Video poker bar, which we like to do, a different kind of social interaction. And the ultimate, yes, is the craps table and that energy. And really, I mean, especially these days where we're even more isolated than ever at work and things like that. Yeah, I think that probably is one of the biggest benefits of gambling.
Oh, I 100% agree with you, Josh. If I had to pick the one thing that I think is most important, it has been that social interaction side. You and I would not be sitting here recording this podcast if it wasn't for gambling. That is how we met each other. We found out we have like minds on many issues, well beyond gambling. We're actually very similar in many other ways too. And our friendship wouldn't even exist without this sort of Vegas podcasting, gambling community that there is.
Yeah, and you talk about this weekend. I mean, we're meeting 5, 6, 7, 8, who knows how many people. If you guys are listeners to the show or friends of ours that are meeting us there, all of that wouldn't come about but for our love and enjoyment of Vegas and of gambling and to a certain extent the show and that kind of thing. But that all has brought us together.
Oh, yeah, and absolutely. And there are things that I have now done in Vegas that I never would have done before.
Yes.
If it wasn't for people like you pushing me to go do some of these things.
Right. I even have to dress seaside chic.
Yeah, absolutely. You sure do. Not shabby chic. Seaside chic. Josh, I bet you half of our listeners have some sort of story they could tell of how they met somebody through the gambling world, whether it was in person at a casino 20 years ago, on Twitter, through podcasts, through Facebook groups. A lot of us have met people through that avenue. And I think it's absolutely terrific because, maybe somebody just doesn't have a good opportunity to make friends where they are at home.
Yeah.
Through their job, they work at home, whatever it is. Their family doesn't live close, whatever it may be. But this is a community that is rather supportive. And it is easy to make friends in it.
It totally is. And to give a little plug for our Facebook group, the Crap Vegas Facebook group, that's a really safe place for people that I think are into Vegas, into craps, that kind of thing. We really try and put down a hard foot on negative talk and that kind of stuff. So it's really welcoming. And if you want to meet some people that are kind of like-minded in this space, that's a great place to do it.
Unless you're a dice setter. Then Chris will come through and ban you pretty quickly.
Sometimes we tease the DI people a little bit, but we try and keep it lighthearted.
Absolutely. And that group is heavily moderated by some great people. So they make sure everybody stays, in line, is nice to people, supportive, all
Crack
the
the
good
whip,
stuff.
right.
Absolutely.
Sean and James crack the whip, right.
Josh, entertainment and excitement. Gambling is effectively just really expensive entertainment in my eyes with a little bit of potential upside at the end.
It is. And I kind of always said that to people and maybe this is our just justifying, this degenerate habit that we have. But I have said to people, if you have your budget, whatever it is, you can go and spend it at Disneyland. You can go and spend it wherever, or you can spend it in Las Vegas. And it's gambling. It's you might win, as you said, Chris. I mean, it kind of brings me back to Norm Macdonald and his line about, the addiction. And he said, well, gambling may be an addiction, but it's the only one where I can win a lot of money.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think about it all the time. Like, I'm just as bummed as anybody else when I come home from a Vegas trip and I've lost X $1,000. And I was like, oh, I could use that for something else. But at the same time, I reframe it in my mind as this was my vacation. This was my trip that I'm going to take once every 3, 4, 5 months, get away, whatever it may be. And at the end of the day, no matter where I went, I was going to spend a decent chunk of change on rooms and food and entertainment and all that stuff. And yes, at least when I go to Vegas, maybe it's only 1 out of every 5 trips. Maybe it's less than that. Who knows? I have a chance to come home with more money than I started with. And that is never the case on a standard vacation I take. So you get the fun, you get the excitement, and yeah, you may walk away with more than you started with.
Yep. Exactly.
And I think there's also a thrill factor for a lot of people, Josh, that just that belief that this could be a trip where I come home and I hit the jackpot on, like a Mega Millions jackpot or something. We all go into the trip the first day with the possibility of coming home with life-changing money, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about it on the trip that we're on now, going back to the tempo paradox, but I'm thinking about it for this trip coming up. The possibility of winning, that's the best part of thinking about a Vegas trip coming up.
Yeah, and along those lines, Josh, I think there's just some sort of excitement that comes from when you defy the odds. Because, I mean, as gamblers, we know that we're participating in a negative EV situation.
Right.
There's not a bet that you or I will ever make that's going to be positive EV. The closest we come is putting odds behind our pass line bet where it's
best bet in the
neutral,
casino, right?
I mean, that's about as good as it gets for us. But there is just that excitement of when you win and walk away from a table,
right?
You defied the odds. You should have lost. You didn't. And that is very rewarding internally.
You're right. I mean, there's kind of nothing that makes you happier than that.
Now, what about professional gamblers, though, Josh? That's something we haven't talked about. Everything we're talking about is negative EV, just recreational gambling. Right. Now, what about for those people that truly are professional gamblers, though, and stick to the things where they could potentially have an edge?
Well, when we talk about it, I mean, this segment is the way gambling could be good for you. And when I think about professional gamblers, Chris, and no offense to those of you, if there are any listeners that are professional gamblers, they don't usually seem to be really happy people to me. I mean, you see, the people that are, I mean, you can speak to this, not that you're not a happy person, but you can speak to this as an
well,
AP.
Shots fired.
I know. As a former AP blackjack player, like it takes a lot of focus. You're not enjoying yourself in the game. And you look at professional poker players, they don't seem to be really happy with it. It's a grind. It can be a good living, but I don't think they're gambling for the fun of it.
No, I agree with you. And that's actually kind of why I brought this up, Josh. I think the people that say that they're professional gamblers and that's how they're filing their tax returns and stuff, those are not the people that I think fall into the gambling is good and happy and positive.
Right.
They're treating it as a job, and that's how they have to treat it because what they're doing is serious and
looking
this
for
is
an
their
edge,
way of making money.
Right.
But at the same time, poker players are typically not happy people.
Yeah.
They just aren't. And the people that are like AP slot players that are having to travel around and push people off machines to take advantage of a progressive that's building up and stuff, I don't think of those people as happy gamblers. And they're not just sitting there having a conversation with a dealer or with other people at the table to get that social interaction. Those people are typically avoiding the social interaction. They're trying to get away from everybody in general.
Right. And you look at, and I don't mean this in any way as a shot, but you look at a lot of the slot influencers you see on YouTube, the big ones, and they look happy and they're playing, $150 a pull and all that stuff. And they are happy, but that's because they're making more money on YouTube than they are losing on gambling. So they can enjoy the losses on gambling and they're making it up from another source. So I think I was just thinking about that, and they appear happy, and I think they are happy, but they're still making money.
But they're not happy because of what they're doing. They're happy because the millions of views that they're getting on their videos is generating just extreme income for some of these people.
Yeah, and hopefully they are like us and they love to play too.
It feels like, though, Josh, if you're one of those people that does that, if you are one of those big time slot influencers, like I feel like all the love of gambling would be completely lost.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, support us enough on YouTube so we can put that to the test.
We don't really have we have a YouTube, but we don't really have a YouTube. But like you and I have both been sitting in a high limit room when these people come through. Last time I was at Venetian Palazzo, I can't remember the guy's name.
That's true. We DC,
I mean, I think he's the biggest player in that space from what I understand. Raja, maybe? Does that sound right?
I think that's,
I mean, I don't watch his video, so I can't really speak to it. But when he was coming into the room, he did not look like a happy person. He had a surrounding of like 7 people with him that are filming from different angles and they're hyping it up. Right. And then you see the cameras click off when they're done with a session and it's just, lifeless. It's all played up for the camera. None of this is real, but this is the same guy that you see online that was trying to like sell units in his LLC because he has like monthly revenues over $1 million.
Right.
And he lost $50,000 on that video that you watched, but he made $500,000 from you guys watching it.
Right.
I mean, it's fictitious. I don't like it. That whole side of things, I really, really dislike. I used to really hate Professor Slots because
Right.
he was giving false information to people and charging them for a system. At least in these situations, these people aren't charging. But
Right.
what they're also not disclosing. They're not letting you know how much free play is they're getting for these sessions. Is the casino paying for a lot of this stuff on the back end and you don't even know it? They're making tons and tons of money through their YouTube monetization. That stuff I don't like because it's disingenuous, and that is not something I support.
I agree with you to a certain extent, but I think there are certain ones of those big slot channels that are pretty honest in, I'm making my money on YouTube and these are real losses, but I'm more than covering that on my YouTube money and, that kind of thing. So I
Sure.
think that,
Like I said, I don't watch all these people. I don't.
right.
So I don't know how many of these people are disclosing versus not disclosing. I'm just saying I've watched a lot of those videos before. People have sent me, people DM me this video. You should watch this as the game you
Right.
like to play. And I watch it and I'm like, it's not real.
Right.
It's not. There's no risk of losing money.
Right.
And gambling, it's not gambling if you can't lose money. That's the
That's a
whole
good point. Right.
of it.
That's a really good point.
Because I mean, this is not gambling. This is entertainment.
Yes.
But for us, when we go, we're losing far, far more money than anything we could ever make on this show. It's
Just-
not even
just a smidge.
remarkably close. I mean, it's not even the same ballpark. So I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way, Josh. I know some people love it. I can't support it.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. And I like certain ones and I don't watch others. And as I mentioned before, I don't watch many of them because I'm afraid I'll get hooked into wanting to play that game for $100 a pull or whatever, something like that. And I don't want that.
Yeah.
So,
And it's unrelated that we went into this topic, Josh, but people always ask us, why don't we film our crap sessions and put it out on YouTube?
that's a really
And-
good, yeah.
Because you don't see videos of higher level craps players betting that kind of significant money. You see videos of low level players that are grinding comps, throwing out a $20 bet here or there, $25 on this. And yeah, maybe they'll have one video where they went on a hot streak and they got a number up to $100. No, I mean, they're not playing at our level. But the reason that we don't do it is because we don't want it to become this thing where we're doing this for content. We enjoy
Right.
gambling. That's
Right.
why we go. That's why we do what we do. And I don't want to ever lose the true love of gambling.
I feel the same way. It's like, I don't want to do it because that would be a job. And this is fun. And the reason this show is fun is because we're talking about our experiences after the fact. We're not very often. I mean, every once in a while I have an idea of I'm going to record this, that kind of thing. But I don't want that. I don't want the pressure of having to perform while I'm doing this thing that I love, which is going to Vegas and gambling.
Oh, yeah. Make witty comments every time something good happens.
Right.
and
It's all I can
make
do to make
press
witty
moves.
comments on the show.
Exactly. Make press moves that I never would have made because it's being recorded to try to look
Right.
better or something.
Right.
Yeah, I just don't like any of that. Moving on to another area, though, that a lot of people would say is a benefit, Josh, stress relief, especially in moderation. Can a crap session actually be therapy for us? Or is that what we degenerates just tell ourselves to make ourselves feel better?
I don't know if it's very stress relieving for me.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think it really depends upon the person because I think gambling can either really help somebody relieve
Right.
stress and get away from their world and all that stuff,
Yeah.
or it's somebody that goes the wrong direction and it can be really disastrous towards their mental health.
Sure.
And I think that these people have to recognize in themselves, is this something that helps me get away for a little bit? It's a little bit of escapism is what it is. It's a hobby where I can get away from my daily grind, do something I enjoy in moderation. It's just like going to play a round of golf. I'm going to have a crap session. If
Right.
that's who you are, then I think it's great. But if you're somebody that goes into it thinking, I really need to make money this time because I need to pay for X, Y, and Z at my house or my apartment, I'm about to lose it because I haven't made my rent payment and I'll go
Right.
gamble to try to get it back. That's a different situation. And I don't think that there's anything good about that at all. So I do think some people can take some positive, emotional relief
Yeah.
from these things, but it's definitely specific to the person.
And I mean, as you're saying all that, I'm thinking about this trip coming up, and to a certain extent, it's Vegas and gambling are kind of tied together for me in the stress relief. Yeah, I mean, part of the fun of going on to Vegas and to gambling in Vegas for me is the getting away from life for a little bit, the real life part. And so to that extent, it is stress relieving.
And just to be completely 100% honest from my perspective, Josh, I've more recently been falling on the opposite side of the spectrum. And Josh knows this because him and I talk all the time. But I actually find that some of my recent Vegas trips that I've taken, or even the one that we're technically on right now, I'm stressing leading up to it
Mhm.
because I know I have so much going on at home. I'd almost rather be there in my mind right now. Now, I'm going to have a great time while I'm there. I know I'll enjoy it once I get there. But I actually find some of my recent Vegas trips to be more stressful than if I didn't go at all. So it's led me to schedule less trips than I used to take a while back. I mean, I used to be in Vegas once a month, 2
Right.
months at most, and now it's 3 to 4 months. And that's a conscious choice that I've made to try to step away from some of the stress that these situations have created. And so I can get back into a mindset, Josh, where I find a trip to
fun.
Vegas to truly be a vacation. I'm getting away.
Yeah.
I'm having a great time. I can really enjoy myself and not fret about anything that might be going on back at home.
Yeah, when you were going once a month or so, that's a burden. It's a burden financially. It's a burden with just your mental health.
Just
so
time, yeah.
Yeah, to the extent you can kind of to bring us back to this topic, to the extent you can get back to where it's enjoyment, that's where I want you to be.
Absolutely. Same place I'd like to be with it too. And I think the last thing that people sometimes bring up as a benefit of gambling, Josh, is risk management. Is gambling the absolute best teacher of risk and reward? I mean, it could just be an expensive one, but it's along those lines.
It definitely is if you're disciplined enough to have a bankroll and stick to it and those kind of components of risk management, and you have to realize what you're putting at risk this session versus your entire bankroll for a trip and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the people that are huge risk takers at, say, a craps table are typically the same people that are big risk takers in life. At least in the experiences I've had, the people that are going out on the whim with some of these crazy bets from time to time and stuff, there are people that they crave that in their daily life. That's who they are. And they're
Right.
probably making the same sort of crazy risks, just doing daily things, whether it's in jobs that they're considering or investment opportunities and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm one of those people. I mean, I'm the first one to tell you that I'm very impulsive, and I'm like that whether we're talking about gambling or if we're talking about like just general business.
Right.
I will throw myself into a new venture at a whim because it popped up in front of me and I thought it'd be a good thing, whether it's good or bad. That's just kind of who I am. And I'm the same way at a craps table where I will bet on the all tall small every time with a good amount of money because, as we've said many times on this show, I'd rather have the huge wins,
Right.
even if they lead to the big losses, than just to be moderate at the table and use a regression strategy and pull my bets down and all that. I can't do that. That's not who I am.
No, it's not. I understand. I feel like every time we say use a regression strategy, we just have to say Trey.
Yeah, Trey. I mean, I'm individually calling him out. I mean, shots fired, Trey. My bad.
Been a lot of
but
shots fired this show.
There has been, absolutely. But I think, skills, Josh, like bankroll management, as you mentioned, I think that is very important. If you can learn to create a budget and stick to it, that is a great life lesson and a good life skill to have.
Yes.
So there you have it, Josh. Gambling, it's a brain booster, it's a social club, cheap thrills, it's a life coach in there a little bit. If you think of anything that we may have missed on this episode, drop us a message. Let us know. I would love to hear some of your feedback about it on the next one. And stay tuned. We've got some more stories, some more hot takes, and probably a few more losing sessions to talk about, so stick around. Josh, Zorkfest 2025. It's coming up. It's in December. We have a location. We have activities. We have private tables. We got it all figured out at this point now.
We sure do. You can buy your tickets at zorkfest.com. It's December 5th through 7th, 2025 at M Resort and Casino. And we did find out, Chris, that the Raiders will be in town that weekend. So what that means, a couple things. Get your room booked first. You can do that through Zorkfest. They'll hook you up. More importantly than that, if you want to go to the game, you can go to the game on the Sunday of Zorkfest. Zorkfest has a little bit of programming on Sunday. That's going to be the special dinner on Sunday night. But you can also do the game if you want to. We might even have a little viewing thing. I'll be hosting a group pull, slot pull, that we haven't figured out any details yet, but I'll be hosting that. Most important thing I wanted to mention, Friday night of Zorkfest, that's December 5th, we have a reserve table, craps table, just for Crap Vegas patrons. So you can buy your Zorkfest ticket at zorkfest.com and add on that add-on for the private table if you're a patron of Crap Vegas. Tickets will go on sale for that. There's actually not going to be a charge, but you still have to kind of reserve a spot on June 1st, I hope, for that. So look for that on the Zorkfest website on June 1st. Also get your tickets for Coffee Dice on that Sunday morning.
Okay, guys, get on over to zorkfest.com, ZORKFEST.com. I have been told that the Better Life is back and better than ever, Josh. And from what I understand, you were one of the last guests on the show before it took a little bit of a hiatus. So does that mean that you're one of the first guests back when it comes back?
I think that Tim has re-released on Better Than Ever my appearance on The Better Life.
Okay, I wouldn't want to be around you that much either, so I can understand that. Once is enough.
But I don't know if I'm going to be invited back or not. But yes, Tim does have, this is Tim Lawson of The Better Life. Tim is a huge supporter of all the Las Vegas podcasts, of the Las Vegas kind of community that we have. And he's relaunched this podcast as Better Than Ever. So Better Life, Better Than Ever. And really excited to have Tim back producing regular content.
Yeah, I think he's putting his episodes out on Wednesdays. One episode is actually going to be coming out, Josh, a couple days before our episode releases. That would be May 21st for those that are looking back in the podcast feed. But then you'll have a couple more in June coming up. I know his newest episode was covering mental health as a gambler. And he had a couple guests on there, Rob Pizzola, who's a professional sports bettor, and then also Mark from over at 360 Vegas was joining him.
That's fantastic. So I encourage you to check out Tim's new show. Again, he's a great supporter of the show. I've enjoyed being on his show. Chris, were you ever on? I think you were once.
I sure
weren't you?
was, Josh.
Yeah.
Probably, 2-3 years ago at this point, but I was a featured guest. I mean, I was one of
You
the
were one and
superstar
done.
guests. I mean, I didn't get an invite back, but you know what? I was there.
And sure enough, I did check. My appearance was re-released on February 28th. So you can find it on the Better Life, Better Than Ever podcast feed if you want more of me.
Get on over there, search on your favorite podcasting app for The Better Life, Better Than Ever, or I'm sure you can go check him out over on his website, thebetterlife.us, and let us know what you think. Listener questions. We got a question from Anthony over on Twitter. Anthony said, I scored a ticket for Atomic Saloon next month, row A, seat 1. Was this a bad choice?
Depends, Anthony. Depends what you like. If you want to get, picked on a little bit. Now, I don't know specifically in the theater what row A, seat 1, as I'm thinking about visualizing the Atomic Saloon theater, which one that is, but everybody near the front of the stage gets involved somehow. And that's true with most of the Spiegel World shows. If you're in front, you're going to get picked on. If you look vulnerable, you're going to get things thrown at you, poured on you.
Oh, no, absolutely. And the first time I read this question, Josh, before we read it, I thought it said absinthe first. And I was like, oh, God, I feel very sorry for you, because there's quite possibly nothing worse than being in the front row of an absinthe show, especially like if Josh and I were sitting there together at a table.
Which we almost were once.
Which we were for a minute before we switched. But no, I assume, I'm just guessing, Josh, for the question's sake, that he's in one of the first row of people right in front of the stage facing their main direction. I don't think he's in the pews behind him or anything.
No, I wouldn't think that either. But there's the one on the on the left-hand side as you're looking at the stage where I think they give them stuff to drink or whatever. They're even more participating than, but just be ready for it. If that's your thing, if you don't mind kind of being the center of attention, it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Just lean into it. I think that's all you can do in those situations. It will make it a heck of a lot more fun. Have an extra drink just to get ready, just in case.
Definitely.
You never know.
Yes.
But other than that, I think you're good.
They may even give you a drink.
They may. You never know.
Right.
Question from Rex over on our Patreon, Josh. He said, hi, y'all. Excited about the opportunity for a Patreon crap session on the Friday of Zorkfest. Could you share when tickets will go on sale and the details on that?
Thanks for asking, Rex. I actually mentioned it on our ads in the middle of the show where we talked about Zorkfest. But just real quickly, we're going to have tickets go on sale, and that's not us. You don't have to buy tickets, but to reserve a space at the reserve table on Friday night, you have to have tickets for Zorkfest, and I'm going to make those go on sale for the reserve table. I'm going to make those go on sale on June 1st if Michael Traeger can do that for me.
Awesome. Question from Ron over on Patreon. Here's a question that's been going around the Vegas pods. Josh and I have heard this on multiple podcasts, and I've been sent links to it from multiple people as well. Would you rather have a big winning session at the start of your trip or at the end? Let's see if we fall on different sides on this one.
All right. Well, this one, so thanks, Ron. And I heard this first, I think, to give credit on 500 and then on You Can Bet on That. And so, yes, it's definitely the question that is top of mind for everybody. It's a fun question. I think there's two ways to look at it. So if we're just talking big session win, I think for me, it's the start of the trip. I love the idea. It's the same reason we play free play, or at least for me, it's the same reason I play free play at the start of my trip. I want to be up so that I can feel like whatever I'm playing is on house money for a while. I want to have that start. And if I go through it all, that doesn't bother me. I think I'd rather have that than the misery of losing a whole trip and then making a comeback.
Okay.
What about you?
It's hard, Josh, because I think it matters what's most important to you. Is it most important to you to have a great time while you're there or to walk home with money? I think that's what this comes down to at the end of the day. So from my perspective, I can guarantee almost 100% chance, because I do it all the time. If I have a huge win at the beginning of a trip, I will not go home with that money. It just will not happen.
It's just not going to happen.
At no point. Josh, last trip, I was up a very large 5-figure number after Friday, and I went home dead even.
Right.
So I know how I am. If I have all that extra money in my pocket, I'm going to use it. I'm going to run it more through slot machines. I'm going to play heavier at the tables. The odds of me going home with it are effectively zero. I'm not one of those people that can take cash and like put it in a drawer and I'm not touching this. I don't do that. So for me, I lean towards, I'd rather have the misery of a bad trip, but at the end have a huge win that gives me money that I have to take home right before I fly out. That is the best thing. Josh, if I'm getting killed this weekend and you and I have an amazing crap session Sunday morning and we make some money and we get back positive, that will be a terrific trip for me.
You know, and as you're saying that, I mean, there is something to be said for just the mental part of finishing on a winning note.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
Even if you're just getting killed and you make back a quarter of what you lost or something, there is something that just, it's nice to leave with that good taste for sure.
Yeah, now, I mean, most people probably leave on a loss.
Yeah,
and it can do damage to you, psychologically.
Right.
So yeah, I'm with you, Josh. I would much rather walk away a winner, even if it doesn't get me back even. I'd like to have a winning session before I go.
Well, let me ask you this, and I don't know that this would change your answer, but I was thinking about it. Does it, if this big win or big loss, or I guess if this big win at the beginning or the end takes you to even?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have the big win at the beginning, but you know you're going to leave the trip even, or if you have a losing session and you have the big win at the end that takes you to even, does finishing even change? If you know you can finish even, does that change anything?
It makes it a little bit tougher because then there are some like actual tangible benefits to hitting it early. Right. Because the increased play could get you more comps or something for the future.
Which is what happened to you on the last trip, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I have some of the best offers I've had in a long time for most properties right now because I've had situations recently where I've been winning at the beginning and giving it all
Play
back.
higher and give it back.
Absolutely.
Right.
So if I knew I was going to end up in the same place, I think probably, I'd rather have it at the beginning and just enjoy the fun as I'm going along. But if there's a chance, Josh, that it's going to sway me positive after a big loss, the couple days before, I'd rather have it at the end.
Okay. I like that. I'm kind of fairly similar. After you talk about it, I like the idea of a little pop at the end to make you feel good. But if I knew I was going to finish even, I think I'm with you. I'd go back to what I said at the beginning, which is I'd rather have it at the beginning.
I agree. Patreon. That's patreon.com/crapvegas. What do we have new over there, Josh?
Well, we finally crowned a champion of the 2021 Crap Vegas Property Bracket Challenge over on Patreon.
I think your year's off a little bit, but I don't know what you're talking about, Josh. I think if I remember correctly, it started in like February and ended up in May. So it only took a couple months.
It did, but we had a lot of fun finally wrapping up the Crap Vegas Property Bracket Challenge over there. A really fun show. We've gotten a lot of feedback, some surprises in there, some Cinderella teams.
Yeah, some people were really pissed off over our choices. But
and some people were happy, though, too. So
they were. Yeah, we did have some people on the other side, too. So you'll be surprised with the way that the Elite Eight went.
But we do have a lot of fun over on Patreon. As I say all the time, we try and give something different, a little special over there. Means a lot to us, all the support of everybody. Who we got this week?
Big thank you to Brad S., Taylor R., Mark H., Anthony G., Mike S. with a KCS membership. Thank you, Mike. And Tariq the Geek. I'm going to assume it's Tariq, Josh, because he wanted it to rhyme, I'm hoping.
Is given names not Tariq the Geek, you're saying?
I don't think so. And he had a KCS membership as well.
So thank you, guys. Thanks for your support. Thanks for our new KCS patrons. That means a lot to us, especially.
Absolutely. And if you get on over there soon, Josh, everybody's favorite time of the year is coming up. Earnings calls.
Oh, yeah. We almost did one this last week, so we decided to save it.
Yep. Upcoming trips. Well, you and I have talked. We are in the time paradox right now. We are in Vegas as this episode is being released. And you're going to be around a couple extra days after I leave, Josh, so people will still have time to come see you.
Yeah, if you're hearing this live on Sunday the 20th, I guess it wouldn't be live, but if you're hearing this when it drops for everybody except the KCS patrons, yes, I'll be in Vegas for another couple days at Wynn, probably playing some craps, seeing Rick, seeing Jay, having some fun. That's my goal, doing some video poker. Now, I don't know where at Wynn one plays video poker, but I'm sure they have machines.
They do. They have bars. I'll tell you this, Josh, if you're looking for video poker and you're not going to do it at like Charlie's, I always head down by the Tower Suites lobby entrance. There's a good bank of video poker machines right in front of it there.
Yeah, I've played there too.
Place.
Yeah.
And there's
But
some
that's
nice
not a
machines
bar.
in high limit.
But yeah, I'm excited. My play has changed since I last stayed at Wynn. So
You've
I'm excited
evolved
to
as a
see.
gambler.
Yeah. I don't think I barely ever even went in the Wynn high limit spaces before. So I'm kind of excited to the way that my gambling paradigm has shifted. I'm excited to see what that looks like at Wynn.
I know. I can't wait to hear about it. And I know you and I are also considering some sort of trip, Josh, in mid-July, early August sort of thing?
Yeah, something like that. And I do know I'm going to be there whenever the Star Trek convention is in August. Chris might join me for the Star Trek convention.
Of course you are.
Stay
You
at
didn't go
Rio.
last year, did you?
No, didn't go last year because I was in Colorado. I couldn't go.
Friendly reminder, subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcasting app and visit our merch store. That's crapvegas.com/shop. We get to go home now, right?
Of course we don't get to go home, Chris. It's your favorite time of the show.
Spin that wheel.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to spin the wheel.
It's time to spin the Crap Vegas Big Wheel. Are you ready? Josh, spin the wheel.
Oh, Chris, I don't know if you saw these headlines, but here's a couple for you. Katy Perry not welcome in Vegas after complete failure residency lost luxury hotel money. Katy Perry not welcome in Vegas after failure residency lost hotel millions. And another one, Katy Perry suffers humiliating blow as fallout from Blue Origin flight and world tour disaster continues.
Now I didn't see those headlines because I wasn't seeking them out. But at the same time, Josh, my social media was overrun by the joke that was Katy Perry's tour there for a while. I mean, some of the choreography and stuff and things going on in the background, you couldn't have mailed it in more if you tried, it looked like.
Well, yes, I suppose that's true. But she was making between like $750,000 and $900,000 a show at her residency in Vegas, which is a ton.
It is.
I know people that went though and really liked it. I mean, she is
that's
kind
good.
of like this, we've at the Super Bowl show, it was all gaudy and kind of like it kind of is who she.
But see, I don't think this was a gaudiness issue or anything like that. This truly looked like she put no thought or effort into the planning of the production. Like the dancing didn't make sense. The set pieces didn't make sense. Like she's had some weird stuff with like the sharks in her stuff and all that.
Right.
I mean, she's had shit like that. But at the same time, it just really seemed like somebody's like, hey, we'll give you $750,000 an episode per show if you'll come out here and do this. And she's like, okay. And just didn't actually spend the time actually creating anything.
Yeah, I mean, you might be right. To me, it speaks. I mean, it's no surprise that it's Resorts World. And I mean, the crap show that they have been administratively and everything like that since they opened up. Like, if anyone's going to have a failure, it's Resorts World at this, it seems to me.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they will throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. And in this case, they threw a lot of money at the wall to see if it would work out for them, and it did not.
Yeah. All right, let's give the wheel one more spin.
Why not?
Oh, Chris, it looks like a theme.
A theme. Oh, good.
A theme.
What you
During
got?
her May 17th concert in Las Vegas, which was not at Resorts World. This is part of her tour, and she was at T-Mobile.
Okay.
She had a wardrobe malfunction. This is Katy Perry again, had a wardrobe malfunction.
That would be the only thing that would make a Katy Perry concert fun for me. So I actually wish I was there.
She was running along the stage, and she had a reflective cone bra and matching high-waisted reflective briefs and boots. And before she could complete her sprint, the bra came undone, threatening to reveal everything. She turned her back on the audience and said, "Oh, my bra is coming off." So she continued the song and she said, "Sorry, guys, you didn't pay that much." Anyway.
I mean, quite frankly, the way the tour was going, it feels like that's the least she could have done for us.
Well, except for the fact that, see, that's what I was getting at here. The whole headlines are from her residency at Resorts World. And this is her tour at T-Mobile. And the headlines were like, she's not welcome in Las Vegas anymore, just as she is performing in Las Vegas at T-Mobile.
I mean, it is kind of funny, but why would you even have two completely different productions? I mean, that just doesn't even make sense either.
I think singers do, but I think singers do. I mean, you have your Las Vegas residency and you go on the road and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I hear you. Anything else this week, Josh?
We'll give it one more really quick spin. I mean, the spin is always the same.
I said the spin is the exact same length. I mean, you don't do a very good job controlling it, but you are very consistent.
Yes, I am. If nothing if not consistent. Consistency is key. Oh, Chris, here's just more of a question. Did you ever wonder? Did you ever wonder what happens to the plants that are in the various displays, like the Bellagio Conservatory plants or the Venetian plants that are in the middle by the gondolas and things, as they change these displays? Do you ever wonder what happens to those plants?
I mean, to be honest, I have absolutely never thought about it before.
You haven't?
Do not wonder at all until right now. And
Now
you
you're
asked the
curious.
question, and now I'm curious. So
Yeah, I
tell me,
know.
Josh, what happens?
Apparently, a lot of properties sell or give them away to employees.
Oh, sell?
Yeah.
Come on now.
The cheap properties sell them.
Bastards.
But yeah, so
Jeez.
and no, if they can, they take them back to the nursery and get them ready for next time. But if they can't, they sell them or give them to employees.
Interesting. I would take a guess. I know which property sells it to their employees. Cough, cough, Bellagio.
Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. And it kind of led me to the road of there's so much of these things in Vegas that I actually am really curious. Like, what happens? Like, what happens to my unopened bottles of soda and stuff that I might leave in a hotel room? Is that all just trashed?
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. I don't think that they can
that's a
keep
lot
any
of
of that
waste.
stuff.
I know, but like unopened things, it's just there must be a lot of waste.
No, I'm sure there is.
Yeah. With that,
That's it? That's all you got?
For
You only
the
have
wheel?
3 spins on the wheel this week, Josh?
you want another?
No, I'm good. 3 was
We can
enough.
do one more. I got one
No,
more.
I think we're good. Let's save it for next time, Josh. We want to
Okay.
leave the people wanting more. I think that's
Always
good.
leave them wanting more.
Good
right?
entertainment there. Anything else before we get off here?
The last thing I want to say, Chris, since we are in Vegas right now, and if you're not in Vegas, I encourage you to make a bet on the Seahawks to make the Super Bowl this year. Do you know why, Chris?
Well, I was going to say because you guys have a new quarterback, so there's some hype right now around your team.
There's a
but
bigger ethereal reason that you have to make a bet to have the Seahawks make the Super Bowl. Not necessarily to win, but just to make
Okay.
it.
Why,
The
Josh?
last 2 times that we have selected a pope, the Seahawks have made the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe Pope Leo is going to come through for you this time.
2013, new popes, Seahawks made the Super Bowl. So
I mean, that's not a good track record for your program, though. I mean, if you have to wait for a new pope to come in every time you want a chance at the Super Bowl, that's not good.
well, that's one way to look at it. But for gambling purposes, make that bet.
Okay, that is true. I'll go put $5 on the future there. I mean, what's it paying? 3-1 right now? 4-1?
Good, it's got to be more than that.
Okay, guys. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode. We appreciate you listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Vegas, here we come.
Thanks for listening to the Crap Vegas podcast.
Have you ever been to Vegas?
Check out all our recent news and our Vegas trip calendar by visiting crapvegas.com.
See you in Vegas.
What do you call it? RFP? What's the particle board called? There's a
MDF.
yeah, I was close. RFP, MDF.
Request for proposal, medium density fiberboard, pretty much the same thing, right? Josh, we got a comment from TD over on the CV Facebook group, and I know he also
Is he
joined.
CDTD?
Well, you didn't take the time
CVTD?
to give me his name, so I can't even say what it is. We got a message from TD over the CV. God, now you fucked me up. God damn it. Oh, yeah, and absolutely. And there are things that I have now done in Vegas that I never would have done before.
Yes,
If it
yeah.
wasn't for people like you pushing me to go do some of these things.
Right. I have to dress shabby chic. I mean,
No,
seaside chic.
Seaside chic. Seaside chic.
What's that shabby chic? That's a furniture, right? Like,
Yeah, I think
that's
so.
a decor.
Sure. Yeah, shabby chic decor. Yeah, why not? Oh, is that how you're supposed to dress? Like a table lamp or something?
No, didn't go last year because I was in Colorado. I couldn't go. First one I've missed since like 2014, I think.
You call it Colorado, huh?
What do you call it?
Colorado.
You're wrong.
You think so?
Yeah, I do think so.
Is this a Nevada
we
situation here?
need Seth
Okay, let us know.
or Jordan. I think Seth and Jordan. Those are the 2 I know. We got lots of listeners in Colorado, but See, it's Colorado, just like it's Oregon, just like it's Gonzaga.
It's not Oregon.
Nope, just like it's Nevada.
Nevada. Tomato.
Now, Missouri.
Are you still going on about this? Jesus Christ. What in the fuck? I was about to transition like a minute ago. You kept going.